Welcome to 5 Minutes of Momentum. These episodes are a short 5-minute burst of inspiration, motivation, and massive action. If you need that little kick up the butt to get things moving and to inspire you to take massive action, then every single Thursday I'll be sending you through a 5-minute episode to download, digest, and implement to finish your week off strong. Are you ready to get started? Let's go. Do you find yourself justifying the things that you want to the people around you? Maybe it's even to yourself. Maybe you find yourself just constantly justifying, I really need this, right? It's okay because of this. It's okay because of that. This is a really interesting scarcity behavior that I notice a lot of people have, is often having a belief system around money that it's okay if you need it, but it's not okay if you want it. And I think it's also a people-pleasing response as well, because we want to allow other people to not feel bad about the things that we're choosing. And yet, one of the biggest things that I notice is that when you are choosing a need versus a want mentality or mindset, it can impact your manifestations. So when we're coming from a place of need, there's a desperation kind of energy with it, and it is very much focusing on the lack, right? When we focus on it's like something that I need, we're recognizing that it's missing from our life, and it's something that we really need, right? So I'm using like inverted commas here, because sometimes it's not that you need it, it's actually because you want it. So today's episode is really about encouraging you to really start to own the fact that you want things. It is totally okay for you to want things. You do not need to justify what you want, right? And I guess sometimes maybe it's when we're brought up as kids, we have to justify to our parents the things that we want. And so we try to make reasons or excuses or explanations as to why we want these things. And so sometimes it can be a constant behavior that we do. We're like, I say I want this, and then there's like a justification that follows. You do not need to justify it. So please just stop justifying it altogether. It's a different energy, and I want you to walk away from that vibration. And I want you just to own and let it just be a completed sentence when you say the things that you want. You're allowed to want whatever the hell you want. The other beauty with a want energy is more of it's like a receiving, allowing energy of like, yep, I want that, right? And not from a place of desperation or you noticing the lack. It's that I'm coming from a place of I have everything that I need. I'm fully taken care of. I have everything has been supplied to me in order for me to live an incredible life. I am so grateful for what I have, and I want to experience this, and I want this, right? So you don't have to justify it at all. The other reason why I wanted to highlight this language choice is because even when we're choosing what it is that we want, when we're coming from a place of need, again, like I said, it's coming from a place of lack, the energy is like a desperation, and we're going after it, hoping and wishing and praying that it's going to come, right? Because I really need it. Whereas when we're coming from a place of want, it's almost like a different part of your body responds to it. And I noticed it within myself, the need is almost like a desperation from the top part of your chest, from a place of fear that it's not going to come. Whereas if you're like, I want this, and you own the fact that you want it without following with justifications, it's like this grounded in your sacral where it's like, yes, that's exactly what I want, and I'm willing to go after it to get it, right? So you recognize that you are 50% in partnership with the universe, and so you ask for what you want, you do the 50%, and you allow yourself to receive based on what the universe is doing the other 50%. So I want you to identify where in your life are you constantly justifying, and ask yourself, why are you justifying it? What are you trying to prove? And what are you worried about happening if you don't justify it? A lot of the time people can justify it because they are worried about what other people may think. They may worry about other people not having the money that they have and where they're choosing to spend that money. And at the end of the day, people spend their money based on what they value. So if it's something that you want, you're most likely it's one of those things that you value. So it's completely okay for you to have the things that you want based on what you value, and let other people buy things based on what they value. And that means that you do not have to justify it, because everyone is an individual. Everyone makes their own choices. Same with how they feel. If you're justifying it because you don't want another person to feel bad, or feel like they're lacking that in their lives, or feel like they can't have that, then recognize that you are trying to take away their experience. You're also trying to manage their emotions, whereas that's not your job, and you cannot do that. It's impossible for you, as much as you may believe that you can based on your childhood. If you had a parent that caused you to feel a certain way, right? Because of the way that they behaved or the way that they passed their emotions onto you and blamed you for their feelings, right? So this is a different way of parenting. And so I'm not judging it here. I just want you to recognize that if there's something that you were brought up with having to justify, having to prove, or having to be conscious of other people's emotions, and then you had to change your behavior so then they didn't have a certain emotional response, then we want to recognize it as a deep-seated pattern that we need to identify. And if we want to change it, we get to change it. You get to reparent yourself now as an adult and go, okay, so now I'm recognizing this isn't serving me and I want to change this. So I want you to practice it this week. Notice where you are justifying or where you're using the word need, and then flip it to a want and stop justifying, and see how it shifts how you feel about it, and see how it shifts the dynamic in the way that you own it, right? In the way that you allow yourself to want these things. And then let me know how you go.